with a bachelor's in applied mathematics and master's in spatial statistics. I used the knowledge from those two degrees to sharpen my geospatial data science skills, right? So it has been an interesting one. And one thing I know that's kept me going is learning, right? Relearn, unlearn, just know that anything you know, there are different ways of doing those things, and you have to just keep learning. That's for me, that's what has kept me going. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we all know that learning, I think there's a saying that say learning never ends. So it's quite interesting to know that the more you learn and the more you know, and when you learn, you get to learn new things, you unlearn and upskill too. That's interesting. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Okay, so for the second
Thank
question
you.
we have for you, Mr. Joshua, I feel like some of us in this webinar, some of us may not really be into the field, and some of us may be interested through this little inspiration that you shared with us. We are grateful for that. So we want to know, what advice will you have for those that either they want to start a career in the geospatial data science, or they are already in the geospatial data science, but then we need to know which skills do they need to acquire, what tools do they need to know, and then we need a general advice that you have for everyone here.
Okay, thank you for that question. This might sound contradicting, but I tell anybody you don't need a degree or a background in any geosciences to be good in spatial data science or geospatial data science. Sincerely, you don't need to study geology. You don't even need to study geography. You don't need to study surveying or geoinformatics or stuffs like that. You don't even need to study urban and regional planning, right? As long as you deal with data, and the data you deal with have location attributes to them, you are good to go, right? Again, I'll say it, as long as your profession deals with data and the data you deal with has location attribute to them, then, or has space attached to them, then
Oh no, I guess his network locked him out. But while we wait for him to join us again, I'm sure some of us have questions, contributions, and inputs. Do well to drop them in the chat, and then we'll look at some of them before we call it a day. We have another co-host here in the person of Adeyomi Samuel. Hi, hello, Samuel.
Hi, good evening, Rachel. Rikia.
So based on our topic, okay, Mr. Joshua is back online. Welcome, sir.
Welcome back, sir.
Sorry, your mic is mute.
background in any of the two sciences to be in, to have, to build your skills or career in spatial data science. So it doesn't matter if you're a banker, you're in accounting, you are in logistics, right? You are in planning, even you are in humanities, tourism, right? All these I've mentioned have location attributed to them. You can actually apply spatial data, geospatial data tools or skills to your profession. Now, I will just answer that question to kickstart. I think the first thing you will need in terms of hardware, obviously you need a good laptop or a good computer. You know, you need to have access to a good computer. Then the second thing is you also need to have access to a good internet, right? Then have a learning mindset. You know, learning mindset in the sense that it's normal, see it as normal to fail, right? You can keep trying things and you keep failing. It's normal because sometimes it's when you feel the difference between you and a professional is the number of failures the professional has had. That's the difference, and how they were able to scale through. So you need a good internet. Now, in terms of knowledge, of course, you need a good statistics skills and knowledge, right? When I mean statistics knowledge is the concept of descriptive statistics, the concept of exploratory statistics, and even inferential statistics. You need those knowledge of those. So you need to understand some, at least, basic backgrounds and knowledge of statistics, and also in maybe probability and the concept of prediction, you know. And then in terms of programming, well, interestingly, you don't really need to know programming very in depth. No, you don't. Because why? We have generative AIs these days, like ChatGPT and the host of them, DeepSeek, Gemini, and the rest of that. These guys are there to support you. They are there to write these codes for you. You understand? It's just like a calculator. You don't need to do those complex maths. They are there to write the code. Because at the end of the day, the codes, the Python codes are not really where they aim. Okay. Hello? So, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay, so at the end of the day, if you are in an industry, the Python codes are not the results. They are not what makes the impact. What makes the impact is informed decisions, insights, right? So, for example, you want to solve a salesman's problem or the delivery guy's problem. You will not be presenting him with Python code. No, what you'll be presenting to him is optimal location or locations he had advantage based on some demographic and economic variables that you were able to punch into those special model, right? So you're able to tell him, okay, these are the places you should concentrate more because of the demography here, right? Maybe you are a baker. The demography here, they will love bread a lot because they tend to send more. There are more people that sell beans in this area. That's how it works. But you will not be presenting Python. So you don't need to know those coding in depth. Another knowledge you might need to know is database management, right? You might need to understand the concept of database. Then also remote sensing, and that's imageries, right? You also need that. Then finally, web mapping, but those are more advanced, right? So that's, for me, recommended tools, right? In terms of programming aspect, of course, Python, you know. So which means at least if you want to be a good spatial data scientist, you must have at least Anaconda, JetBrains, VS, VB code. You must have that on your system. You should have an environment installed. Then you should also have at least ArcGIS Pro, in terms of desktop softwares, the ArcGIS Pro, QGIS. You should also have Joda. Joda too is very nice. Even Grass GIS. Then in terms of database, at least you have Postgres or PostGIS, which you might not even use on a regular. Then for web-based platforms, of course, Google Earth Engine or Snap. So these are in terms of platforms, softwares and platforms that are needed. Subsequently, I'm very sure we might go in depth in all this to go out to start. So thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that insights, for the knowledge you've shared on
Thank you so much,
starting a
Mr.
career.
Joshua, for that impactful and a very strong and valuable knowledge you've just given to us. I'm sure a lot of us have been able to. Going to Mr. Joshua for sharing that valuable and tangible information to us. I'm sure a lot of us have been one or two from this because it's a lot of information. So we are so grateful for that. On to the next question.
So I know that there is no field, there is no sector, there is no profession without challenges. And they say a problem, once you know a problem, you already know, you're already halfway into solving it. And I know in this spatial and data science field, there are a lot of challenges that beginners or novice or even professionals themselves, there are challenges that one might get to encounter. So in the course of journeying in this career path, are there some challenges that you have encountered, and would like to know how are you able to manage them? How are you able to overcome them? Because having spent 10 years in this path is quite remarkable, and I'm sure you have quite the whole experience.
Okay, for me, for challenges, I will try to mention this in Nigerian perspective because I'm very sure we have a lot of audience from Nigeria, right? For Nigeria, of course, electricity, right? Electricity, because geospatial data science is a lot of reproduce. You reproduce a lot, you iterate a lot, and you do a lot of automations, right? So to do this, you need constant power. So it's a challenge. So you might spend a lot of money on just, trying to get energy for yourself. So that's this challenge on its own. Another challenge is internet, you know, right? When you want to do a lot of you want to do automations and you have to download and the rest of that, you need stable internet. So it's a challenge, right? Another challenge is laptop or computer, right? Spatial data science requires a kind of hybrid systems, at least a system that has a dedicated graphics card, because you are dealing with a lot of graphics, and a very good RAM, you know. So then, of course, storage. So, and currently with the exchange rates, getting such system these days is a challenge, and that is, for me, these are the three major challenges. Then finally, landing your first job, because you cannot keep learning all these things. Right? You need to put food on the table. So how to actually navigate to actually land your first job and say, yes, these skills are my time to learn is paying off, right? Or I'm able to make an earnings or a living from these skills. That is also a challenge because a lot of sectors in Nigeria have not gotten to that level that they are comfortable with spatial data science. Some people are still in that era of GIS, of just adding legends and maps, right? Adding legends on maps, and they are done. They call themselves GIS expert. So a lot of sectors are still in that level. So for you now coming in with spatial data science is good, it's an advantage, but convincing people, you have to be the evangelist, trying to say, okay, this is a new way you can do all these things. And so these are the major challenges for me based on my experience in Nigeria. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you for that warm response. I know that data sometimes is some of these challenges. How are you able to manage data sourcing?
Yeah, for data sourcing, I don't think most times you rely on colleagues, right? And that is why you have to be very rely on colleagues in terms of data. And you keep checking. That's one thing about data. Data too is like learning. Don't always be hungry for data, but always respect privacy so that you don't, and also constraints. If a data is said, please do not share read those constraints, understand what those constraints are. But mostly you rely on open data, OSM, right? OSM, NASA Earth Explorer, you rely more on those data to actually create your demos or your capcons, and that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I'm sure some of these challenges, we've picked one or two regards to overcoming whatever challenges that we've had or we will have, would encounter in the course of our career path, because this is just the first of our webinar series for the year 2025, right? This is Geospatial Data Science Kickstart. So I'm sure that along the way, in the course of, before the year runs out, we're having a whole series. So be sure to keep a date with us, and you would be more enlightened and enriched with more information. Thank you so much for Mr. Joshua for sharing that. Thank you.
All right, so we're still on the question section. So being here now that we've heard your experience so far, and then we've already gotten some knowledge on how to get started, the tools we can use, the knowledge we need to acquire, and also we've heard about your challenges so far. And though that didn't scare us, that can't even scare us away. Those that want to learn will surely still keep learning. So we want to know, could you share some of the opportunities, existing opportunities or upcoming opportunities that after we've gathered all the skills, after the learning, the practice and everything, which opportunities do you think are available for those in this field to get into?
Yeah, for opportunities, I think, yeah, thank you. I hope you can hear me, right?
Yes, we
Yes,
can
we
hear
can.
you.
Okay, so for opportunities, there are a lot of opportunities, emerging opportunities for geospatial data science and GeoAI. In fact, GeoAI alone is $1 billion or $1 trillion market, right? So that alone is already conquering a lot of grounds. Image recognition, land classification, object detection, all that, spatiotemporal forecasting, right? All that alone is already conquering a lot of this thing. Then you also have the concept of smart cities, right? And also climate change and environmental intelligence, new ways of measurement, right? All these things are part of spatial data science, right? So, and the spatial data entrepreneur, whereby you provide the spatial data science. So, now let me come back to the context of Nigeria. As we speak now, outside Google, right? Outside Google, nobody has attempted. I've not seen where we have attempted to map all the beautiful things in Nigeria. And even the ones that Google has done, I've not seen anybody that has made any use of such. So imagine if you are able to design a platform that can automate the addresses, because those Google building footprints don't have address. They don't. But if you are able to automate and you are able to add addresses to those buildings, that's it. These are packages you can now sell to people like Jumia, Konga, right? And they will use it for addressing. Even banks. Banks don't need to, once you give banks address, they can use your package to actually verify if such buildings exist. These are part of spatial data science, right? Then forecasting, demographic forecasting, especially like spatial regression, ML, machine learning, where are in terms of social vulnerability, flood vulnerability, and accessibility, whereby you use different variables to actually determine how these variables affect a particular or influence a particular variables, you see. For example, how does flood influences other social economic variables in a particular area. You see, so that you can use spatial data. So the technology is emerging, and even spatial ETL, right? So the technology is emerging, and anybody that is in Nigeria that can acquire such skills, you are positioning yourself not just for Nigeria, for global. And for a lot of people that are looking for opportunities outside Nigeria, these are skills you can hop on to actually prepare yourself, position yourself in anywhere globally. So that is it. So opportunities in spatial data science is much, but the challenge is sit down and learn or acquire these skills. I promise you, it's a skill that sells itself, right? It's a skill that sells itself because as you're doing it, you promote yourself on GitHub, you promote yourself on LinkedIn. People will definitely take note of you, and that is it. But because you cannot promote what you don't have, but as long as you have it, forget it. People will always you will have one or two people, especially if you're in Nigeria. A lot of people want to learn it. So it's a good, there are a lot of opportunities around spatial and data science. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that answer, Mr. Joshua. So the key points in this is to look for problems and try to come up with solutions to solve the problems. So thank you so much for that answer, Mr. Joshua.
Okay, thank you for sharing so much insight and knowledge with us this evening. Thank you. It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure having you on our webinar and in our space. Thank you so much. So I would like to know, do we have questions? I can see a hand raised. Mr. Mohammed Tahir.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Is
you.
it
Yes,
time
we
for
can. Go
question and
ahead.
answer?
Yes, it's time for question and answer.
Yes, thank you for the presentations, and thank you to Special and Data Society of Nigeria. I'm very happy to be in your midst today. I'm a geospatial analyst, also a disease mapper. Now, when I saw this on LinkedIn, I said, yes, let me join. I've had all the explanation that your guy gave, which is very perfect. It's an emerging field, especially in Nigeria here, and it's a multi-million dollar field. I think in Nigeria, as far as my field is concerned, we are not much, not geospatial in general, in terms of disease mapping. We statisticians that are in this field, we are not much. I think we are not even up to 10 in Nigeria. We are not up to 10. I'm doing my PhD in this field. And just like Oga was saying, in terms of like many of the NGOs now, the developmental sectors, especially those that are into public health, they need the professionals. They need professionals in this field. Now, my question is this: how can we collaborate? I want collaborations because in the aspect of the statistical aspect, in terms of modeling, clustering, I've not seen much people in that. Just like Ogasi, what I see people doing is just visualization, putting legends, and the things that is all about what we call spatial analysis. It's beyond that. Like we've written many models about that. I'm doing my PhD at Twitter, and a lot of things. When I saw this, I wrote a message. But people have not responded up to now. How can we collaborate? That's my question. Thank you. Over.
Okay, I'm sure Mr. Joshua
Okay,
have some response before we respond also.
Okay, for collaboration, we are open to collaboration, but we're very sensitive to collaboration. Like I said, I will say it openly here. If you are here and your interest is GIS, I think you are in the wrong room or you're in the wrong meeting. And I thank you, Mr. Moabe. I really appreciate what you said because our call here is more statistics, mathematical modeling, right? That is the core. Computer computations, database, right? That is what we are in here. So if you are more interested in creating maps and adding learning, you are in the wrong room. So that is why we are very, very, very sensitive in terms of collaboration. We want to be sure if we are collaborating, we need to be sure that your interest, your goals aligns with the aim and objective of Spatial and Data Science Society of Nigeria. And that is why today, one of the things that in SDSSN is, even if we are just 10, like Oga said, there are just 10 people in Nigeria. And if it's just 10 people that are members of the society, but we ensure that we are in line. So if you are interested in GIS, there are other societies that so as long as your goals is aligned with ours, we are willing to collaborate, because what we want is practical knowledge of these skills, and not just about just visualization, like you said, not just visualization, practical knowledge. You need to understand the Python. You need to understand the packages. We want to even start developing our own packages. You need to understand the statistical aspect. Not just, oh, I want to use machine learning. No, I want to use regression. No. Why? I want to use support vector machine. I want to use rainforest. I told somebody, I'm using rainforest to predict. I said, okay, why don't you use dry forest? So so it's not just about those foods. You need to understand what are the statistical aspects of. So we are very willing to collaborate, and we'll reply definitely. We will reply your response and see how we can do it, because we are about practical. That is the word, and not just coming to, especially when we have workshops, it's not coming to take tea and pizza. No, practical hands-on, is what SDSSN is all about. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for responding to that. And Mr. Mohammed would respond to you as soon as possible. So do we have more questions we would like to ask? This is the first of its kind, and the first from our webinar series, like I said earlier. So the year is not over yet, so there's still a lot to learn. There's a lot to achieve, and trust me, you would not want to miss the next edition. It can only get better. It only gets better. And okay, yes, I recall saying that we had we've started issuing of certificates to members, and these certificates, it's actually has benefits. It comes with a lot of benefits that is peculiar to each of the categories, and would not want you to miss out on any of them. So therefore, ensure you subscribe with us today, and trust me, it's going to be a very, very, very smooth ride. Okay, I see a hand raised, Mr. Onoja.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, we
Yes,
can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, so first off, I want to appreciate the organizers for this webinar. Like MD said, when I saw the notification on LinkedIn, I was curious and I wanted to just know what's really going on. So having heard the response to the last question, I now know that I think I'm in a serious place. Bearing in mind that there's where the team is coming from and there's also a plan. So my own concern is just very simple. I just want something that will be engaging, because some of us, I attended a workshop in 2024, and in fact, the whole area of QGIS and GIS came up, and it was strange. It was strange and all of that. So with this now, I now know that a whole lot in this field. I've been trying to learn on my own, but the challenge is just been having a structured learning. I'm just hopeful that this will also provide that opportunity for some of us. I work in the NGO space, and like MD said, it's like strange because a whole lot is happening there, but you just don't know how to do some of these things to convince stakeholders and all other policymakers on exactly what is going on. So why I'm only saying all of this is just that I'm very hopeful that I'm in the right place. Also hopeful too that there are also programs being outlined, and with this, I'm sure if I get the value for what is being said and all of that. I'm very sure to encourage and push some persons to join the team. So I will expect details and the plans and all of that, so that those of us who have indicated interest now can quickly join, start the team, and then see how we can come in, learn what we can learn, and also support. Thank you, Anuva.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for that. And
Okay, we have a question. Is there a platform, WhatsApp group, Telegram, etc.? Okay, for new attending members. Okay, for now, we don't have a WhatsApp group, but you can visit our website. We have social handles. We are on LinkedIn. We are on Instagram. We are on TikTok. Yes, we are on TikTok. As funny as the platform, same, but we are on TikTok. You could visit our handles, check our LinkedIn page. Okay, I would drop our LinkedIn handle on the chat. Thank you. It's on the chat. So for those of you that are not following us already, can do well to follow us, and we'll bring you up to speed on the latest happenings and whatever information we have, be it opportunities, be it upcoming webinars, trainings. I'm sure you'll be the first, you'll be the recipient of all this first-hand information. So thank you. Any more questions before we call it a day? Because I'm sure Mr. Joshua is a very busy person. We had to squeeze out this 1 hour from his busy schedule, and I'm sure he has something else to go back to. Okay. Okay, so far so good. I think we've spoken at length, and we look forward to seeing everybody on board, everybody here, because I'm seeing a lot of new faces, and I look forward to having to work with everyone here, because I'm looking forward to learning more. They said learning never ends, so I'm open to learning more and gaining more knowledge, and I know that I'm in the right space, so feel free to tag along. Let's move the journey together. Let's join the journey together. So I don't know, Sam, do you have any? My co-host Sam Adeomi.
Okay.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thanks to our host and our visitor for a wonderful session today. And it has been a very interesting session so far. We are all here to learn, relearn, and unlearn. And for every phase you are in life, there's always something you can take away from somewhere. And I believe everyone has actually taken one of two things away from here. So as a community, we are a group of people who actually understand what you are going through. Let me put it that way, because the geospatial community in Nigeria, when you look at it, they've tried to like squeeze it into data analysis and geospatial and data engineering and data science and the rest. But when the people who actually uses this, who understand the principle and the core guideline of using it, comes together and said, okay, we need to have our own. We don't need to, because some people see GIS as a visualization tool. That's all. When they visualize role play, that's where they believe GIS ends. So that's what actually bettered this community. So we're welcoming members. We are welcoming members because there is a lot of plan, a lot of things in motion, and you can also be part of the plan. You can be the next person who will come here and interview. You can also be the host of a particular webinar or session. So we welcome everyone that wants to be part of it. Just like Mr. Joshua said, when you are coming to join us, you should be ready to know that we are not just going to be creating map of Nigeria and map of Africa. We go beyond that. So yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Sammy. Thank you, Mr. Joshua, for making our time to make today's webinar memorable one and full of knowledge. We appreciate your time and we look forward to more interesting sessions with you. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
And we also want to say a very big thank you to everybody here that joined the webinar. I'm sure that we all got one or two things from it.
Okay, for those that don't know
Yes.
our website is www.sdssn.org, www.sdssn.org. So kindly visit our website and then see what SDSSN is all about. For those of you that haven't subscribed to the website, do well to do so, and also follow us on LinkedIn and join the society. Welcome on board. We have enough room to welcome everybody. So with that being said, I would like to say thank you once again for joining today, and do have a very good evening.
And we also look forward to seeing you all at our next webinar. Thank you very much, guys.